Hi guys, just going to show you how to do this spreadsheet exercise. This is very similar to ones people are getting about their, at least in job interviews where they're asking you to take an Excel assessment. You can also watch, I've linked to one down here where she had to do one, and you can watch how it's a different data set obviously than this one. You can see how she handled it, but we both agree also that you don't want to be doing this like you don't want to be manually having to count like, oh, that there are 2 in April or something like that. You want to be able to instead of doing that, you want to use a formula or a table or something like that. So the first thing it says is sort by last name and then first name. So the way we do that is we're going to go up here to data, sort, okay, and we're going to sort by last name, comma, first name. Notice you need to have this my data has headers selected, and you hit OK. Now also note this only works or will work to the extent that, for example, if I insert a column here, and now if I go ahead and hit filter, you'll notice it's Excel is thinking these are two separate, sort of separate groupings that aren't related, and so if you sorted this one on the left, it would not sort the one on the right. If I now get rid of it and I put some text here in the middle, even though the rest of the column is blank, as long as the header is full, it will see that this whole thing belongs together. Now, and it's also true if there were a blank row separating something out. Okay, so you just want to be careful on that. Go ahead and delete that. All right, so now we've sorted by last name, first name. Then it says summarize by employment status. So counting how many are part-time or full-time. And I'll also have you note that the first thing I would check is I would add a filter here and see how many spellings there are. And the way that'll show up is, if there are a couple misspellings here, so that's part-time, and then this has let's just say a hyphen in the middle. Now when I click this, you'll see that there are 3 for part-time. And so I would want to check those and correct them. And I'm just doing a copy and a paste. Okay, and then I could either click clear the filter here, or I could clear it up there. Okay, and now we can just double check that to say, oh, there aren't any funny spellings there. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and copy. I'll put it right here, and I'll show you in a second why. And now I'm going to go ahead, I'm on data, and I'm going to do remove duplicates. Okay, and I'm just going to put full-time up top, so it goes full-time, part-time, and then contractor, intern. Okay, now normally I would name this range, but you don't have to. So I could do is equal to count if. Okay, and here is the range, comma, and then point to full-time. Right now, I'm going to want to set that to an absolute reference, because if I just now copy and paste this down, okay, so you'll notice that this one goes from H2 to H22. This one's going to go H3 to 23, so it's going to miss this one, and it's just going to continue to slide down. So the way that you get rid of that is when I'm up here, I click, and I'm going to hit F4 on a PC. It's Alt T on a Mac, or Command T for toggle on a Mac. So you hit F4, F4, or you type in the $signs. And now when I go ahead and do this, now it should count up the correct number. Also, I know that there are 21 of these. Okay. And so here, I'm going to hit top bottom borders and auto sum. Okay. Now again, if you don't have it out at full size, you'll notice here that now it's gone. It's just abbreviated to just show that summation sign. But now it'll say auto sum. Okay. So now we've summarized it by status, or by like full-time versus part-time. It adds up to 21. Now we're going to do these. Now we're going to do extracting the area code out of the mobile phone and the last 4 digits from the work phone. So I'm going to go ahead and insert here and insert here. So this one will be area code. And we're going to use the left function. So we're going to point here and take the left 3 characters. And then to extract out the right, or I could take out the right 6 to get that 5, like I would say this, comma 6 to get the, kind of like that. Or I'm just going to do the 4 digits because that's what I asked for, and I'm going to click that down. I'm going to give it an indent there just so that I have a little bit of space between it and this one. Same thing here, and I'll call this the last 4. Okay. Now on this next one, what we're going to do is extract the birth year from the date of birth. And dates are a little bit different in Excel. I'll just go ahead and show you. I'm going to end up inserting 3 right here because we're going to end up using all 3. I'm going to go ahead and say we'll get rid of that filter. This one we'll call the year of birth, or birth year. Call this age as of December 31st, 2019. Okay, so this is formatted. If I sit at home, you can see up here, this is formatted as a date. Okay, and the way Excel tracks dates is the number of days since January 1st, 1900, or day 1 is January 1st, 1900, day 2 is January 2nd, 1900, and so on. So if I were to format this as we can see here it's formatted as a date. If you were to look at a number, this is 26,123 because that is 26,123 days since January 1st, 1900. Okay, so the year of birth is going to say is equal to year here, and that's going to look like May 24th, 1905. But again, if we now format it to general or a number, that's 1907. That's 1971. Okay, we could also do it as. There's another way you could do it. Is to say is equal to text, and this is just a funny one. So this one says it converts a value to text in a specific format, and so we could also say I could point to this, and then the format is 4Ys, and again it would grab 1971 as well. Either one is fine. Okay, now the age as of December 31st, 2019. So if we wanted to calculate their ages, now we would say, look, it's equal to 2019 minus, and I could pick either one of these years. Okay, and again, since it's formatted as a date, now if I hit general, it's going to be, that's their age. Okay, I may not want it centered, but it doesn't matter. In fact, I'll do this and then indented one. Okay, and then if I wanted to do, there's other ways to do it. I'm going to say age in 2020 here, and that would be, there's a function called today. I'll just type it down here. And if I click on this function, you'll notice you don't pass it any parameters or arguments. It's just, but it has to be within, it has to have those parentheses. So this grabs the day, and so now I could say is equal to today. Okay, and now if I said, I'm going to extract the year out of that. So I'm taking the year of today, and I could say minus the year of their birth. And again, I need to format all of these as numbers. Okay, and I'll do one more for age in 2020. Okay, and that is, I'm going to say is equal to today minus their date of birth. Okay, and that is, again, this is going to tell me that there are 17,993 days between then. And now if I divide that by 365, okay, I have this minus that. Good. Okay, I don't need all those decimal places, but this is going to tell me as of today how many years. It's going to give me a fraction of a year, But now you'll also want to notice that this is the age that they will be turning in 2020. So if they haven't had a birthday yet, I'm looking for somebody like this one is December 20th and this one's October 27th. So this person is 24 years old and will be turning 25 later this year. So they're currently 24.8. So this will all work. Like dividing by 365 isn't perfect. In particular, you wouldn't want to use it for something where the like they have to actually turn 65 and the day before doesn't work. You just want to be clear on, it's going to be off by a little bit, and it's also, so this is their age as of December 31st, 2019. This is it. Even though I say age in 2020, this is the age they will be turning in 2020. And again, if they haven't had their birthday yet, like this person or this person, they haven't turned 25 yet. So if that's going to matter, if you're in the retirement office, if that's going to matter, you want to think about it. But this is close enough for most everything. Okay, so we've done now 1 through 6. Now we're going to do the companies with greater than 500 employees but less than 1,000. I'm going to show a couple ways here to do that. Okay, I'm also going to, since I've been adding rows, this has just gotten wider and wider. Here I am going to go ahead and name this range. I'll call this emp count. Okay, and a couple things there's a couple ways I could solve this. One is I could do filter, and I could use a number filter and say it's greater than or equal to 500. I think I said greater than 500. So I'm going to say it's greater than 500 and less than or equal to 1,000. So we'll do less than or equal to 1,000 and hit OK. So there's 4 companies in that bracket. Go up and clear that. You could also do we could do conditional formatting where I'm going to select all of that. I'm going to say conditional formatting, and I'm going to highlight cells. And it's going to do, in this one you can't do greater than. If you do greater than, it's not going to give you the option to have more than one condition. So what we need to do here is we're going to do between. Okay, and we'll say this is between 501, okay, and 1,000. And now it's highlighting those 4. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave that. If I want to get rid of those rules, then I'm going to go up here and I can either just say manage rules, and I could delete it here, like I could just delete it and then hit OK. Or I could have done up here and say clear rules, and clear rules from entire sheet, and it would clear any from this sheet. Okay. I also want to show you though the count ifs way. I'm going to do it again with using count ifs. And so here what we're going to do is we'll do, let's see, greater than but less than, and this is the count. So this is going to give us, I'll go ahead and bold that and give it some sort of a background color so that we know. So this will be company size. Okay, so if I wanted to say, let's do 0 up to 100, we'll do 101 to 250, 251 to 500, 501 to 1,000, and let's do greater than 1,000, and I'll just say, or I'm going to put a single quote, and then I'll say greater than 1,000 employees. Okay, and I can set that right there. So now I could do count ifs. Okay, and hit tab. Okay, and so now I can put in multiple criteria, which are, and count ifs is a little bit funny, but we're going to say criteria range is going to be that emp count. And the criteria is, and this is where it gets, the way it works is a little funny because you have to put this in quotes, is you say quote greater than, I'm going to say greater than or equal to, now I could put in the number here like 0 and hit OK. And then I could also put in emp count, comma, less than 100, like I could hard code this in and that would work. But what I'm going to do, in fact, I think I need it because I've got 100, 250. I think I'll do less than or equal to. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't want to normally hard code in the numbers. So what I'm going to normally do is say equals count ifs, and I'm going to do emp count, comma, and so now I do quote greater than equal to close quote, and then I do ampersand and I point to the cell, comma, emp count less than, let's see, there we go, less than equal to close quote, ampersand, point to this cell. Okay, and so you put the greater than or the equal sign or whatever within quotes, and then you put ampersand and point to the cell outside of quotes. And that's just a little tricky. To me, that's not the most intuitive, but that's the way Excel does it. And so now when I hit enter, I can go down to this all the way down. And that should add up to, all right, so 17. And then I can do equal to count ifs, or actually just even count if, emp count, and now I'm going to say is greater than, we'll just type in greater than 1,000. Okay, and now I'm going to double check my work in case I made a mistake, but that should add up to 21. Okay, now the other thing is, so you in this case, because there's no fraction of employees, and I don't think there's anyone exactly at 250 or exactly at 500, it may not matter whether I do less than or equal to, but it would matter if we were doing, say, these ages, and so we were doing these that had decimal places, and so I might want to say, you know, so if I were putting the age, I think the youngest age here is, we can go ahead and say min and max. If I go ahead and call this emp age, if I say is equal to min emp age, so that is 22.7, and now I'll just change this to max. Okay, so the oldest person is 65.6 in this data set. They're actually older than that, but I've just made up some fictional ages. I think that says it's Warren Buffett, and Warren Buffett's older than that. But if I were to now do ages, and so I were to do 20, 30, 40, okay, and so now this would be 29, maybe 39, 49. Okay, if I wanted the ages to be, and this would be so that I could show it to somebody else, but if I wanted it to say, but in fact, if I were to do the, so to get somebody in their 20s, I would do equal to count ifs, and I would do emp age, comma, and I would do greater than or equal to ampersand where the 20 is, and then I would do emp age, comma, but less than, not less than or equal to, but less than ampersand, and I would do the 30. And then if I wanted to say, let's see, so this one is here, here. Oh, right. And so this one I might want to say, since I know that the oldest one is 65.6, so I could either put 70 to 79, or I could, if I'm in the cell, you'll notice the purple one is this one on the right. If I hover over it and I get the 4 arrows, I could actually now drag it and hit OK. And it's now pointing there. Okay, so to show you what I did there, when I'm clicking in here, right now, if I would want to put 70 where that purple one is, so that's cell T27, or I can just, the cool thing about it is when I'm clicked on it, I can just drag, but I have to be not on that bar on the right, I have to be kind of here in the middle or one of these, and I can just go like that, and now I'm left clicking and dragging it, and now it works. Okay, and that'll add up to 21. Okay, so I just want to show you that because there's a couple ways to do it, and you just have to be thinking about, if there's a fraction of a year or something, if that's going to matter, then instead of saying less than or equal to 29, I'm going to say less than 30. Okay, so that wasn't actually necessary because it didn't ask for a table with their ages, but this gives us how many are within each sort of decade. And then the last question asks, there's two last questions here. How many were born in June? And then sorting the month higher so that it goes by, January, February, March, that way. So a couple ways we're going to do this. To get the month of birth, I'm going to just go ahead and click Insert. Okay, and now to get the month of birth, before we use the, I'm going to call this month of birth. Okay, and to get it to wrap like that, I'm using this wrap text. That's on the Home tab. Now, we use the year function here. There's also a month and a day function actually, so I'm going to say is equal to month, and this is going to extract out that 7. And again, it's formatted as a date, and so we need to change it to a number or general. Okay, and then I'm just going to center that. Now, and so now we can just say, what did I ask for, May or June? I think June. How many born in June? So I'm going to say born in June, and so now we're going to say is equal to COUNTIF, and we're going to do this range right there, comma, and if that's equal to 6, and I think there's only 1. Yeah, if you put in May, which is what then there's 3 of them. Okay, so there are 1 born in June. Okay, and then for this month hired, I'm going to do this data filter, and now what I can do is if I hit sort, we'll go ahead and delete that level. Now, if I do month hired and I just do A to Z, it's going to sort them alphabetically, so it'll go April and then August and then December. Okay, so what we want to do is go over here to this order, and we're going to go to custom list, and you can add, if there's a custom list that you need for your company of a particular order that you need, then you can do it. This one has a January, February, March, and it also has it with the 3 letters, but we're going to use this because they fully spell out the month here. We're going to use this one and hit OK, and now hit OK. So now that goes from January down to December. So we've got these months sorted chronologically. Okay, that's what you'll need to do. And then when you're done, you can just upload it to Canvas, and that's where we'll stop.